وَلِكُلٍّ وِجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَلِّيهَا فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا يَأْتِ بِكُمُ اللَّهُ جَمِيعًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ।
আর সবার জন্যই রয়েছে কিবলা এক এক দিকে, যেদিকে সে মুখ করে ইবাদত করবে। কাজেই সৎ কাজে প্রতিযোগিতামূলকভাবে এগিয়ে যাও। যেখানেই তোমরা থাকবে আল্লাহ অবশ্যই তোমাদেরকে সমবেত করবেন। নিশ্চয়ই আল্লাহ সব বিষয়ে ক্ষমতাশীল।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম ওয়া রাহমাতুল্লাহি ওয়া বারাকাতুহু। আউযু বিল্লাহি মিনাশ শাইতানির রাজীম। وَلِكُلٍّ وِجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَلِّيهَا فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا يَأْتِ بِكُمُ اللَّهُ جَمِيعًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. And the conversation about the change of the Qibla is continuing, and Allah says something that is basically a universal and a kind of axiom. It's a style of the Quran that Allah deals with a very specific issue, and in the middle of that specific issue, He says something that is universal in nature. So you can draw a universal principle from it and reflect on it. And that's the expression, وَلِكُلٍّ وِجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَلِّيهَا, which has, the scholars have just had an extensive amount of commentary on that small phrase. وَلِكُلٍّ وِجْهَةٌ هُوَ مُوَلِّيهَا. Kull in Arabic is usually it comes with a mudaf ilayh. It comes with something that comes after it. And so there's commentary about why there isn't a mudaf ilayh here. And لِكُلِّ مَنْ يُوَجِّهْ وَجْهَهُ or لِكُلِّ مَنْ يُوَلِّي وَجْهَهُ. And so there's all this commentary, but for everyone who has a face to turn in some direction, مِنْ كُلِّ أَهْلِ قِبْلَةٍ, some say, for every person who belongs to a qibla, who faces in a direction. But really what Allah has said here by saying kullin is that He's talking about all people, all humanity, whether they follow a qibla or not, whether they pray in a particular direction or not. Allah is saying about everyone, لِكُلٍّ وِجْهَةٌ. Wijhatun comes from the word wajh, which means face, and wijhatun means a very particular direction. You see, the infinitives in the Arabic language, the masdar in the Arabic language is general, but when you add a ta marbuta to it, when you add around, then it becomes a very particular, specific thing. So for example, akl is food. But if you say akla, ta marbuta, it's a very particular meal. Or it's that particular meal that you had, that's akla. Or darb is hitting. But if you say darba with a ta marbuta, then what does that mean? A very particular hit. That one specific hit. Okay? So now here Allah says wijhatun, a very particular direction. Allah is basically talking in majaz here and telling us that all humanity, every single individual picks a goal in their life, a direction in their life, and they stick to it. And they just, everything they do in the end goes towards that one goal. Sometimes those goals are pathetic. Sometimes those goals are laughable, but sometimes those goals are meaningful. In this case, the physical direction of our prayer has been changed, but now Allah is using that to comment on our direction in life. That everyone, by the way, has a direction. Not just in prayer, but in life, they have a direction. Towards, huwa muwalliha, He turns towards it. He's the one who turns, and muwalli is interesting because it's both transitive and intransitive, lazim and muta'addi. So He turns Himself towards that direction, and He turns everything He has, everyone around Him towards that direction too. In other words, not only do you pursue a life goal, you try to convince others that that is the way you should be living. You leave a legacy behind you. This is muwalliha. So now Allah has given us a direction, and He's given us not only a physical direction of prayer, but also a direction in life, guidance itself. So now He says, as a result, فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ, then compete in good deeds. Compete in the few good deeds that Allah has given you to do, compete in them. فَاسْتَبِقُوا. So now look at this imagery. First you have a goal, of course you face towards that goal, and now you're racing. Now you're racing towards that goal. And of course you can't race if there are different people heading in different directions. The race has to be in a unified direction. So now فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. Also the immediate meaning, even though the meaning is very vast. It's all good deeds. But specific to the context, the deed is salat. Because the deed that is in direction of that, or the two deeds particularly, are salat and hajj. Right? That you should be competing in, or umrah. Those are the deeds you should be particularly competing in, but it's not restricted to those deeds. أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا يَأْتِ بِكُمُ اللَّهُ جَمِيعًا. And then again, speaking of direction, wherever you may be, wherever you may find yourselves, يَأْتِ بِكُمُ اللَّهُ جَمِيعًا. Allah will bring you together. Allah will bring all of you all together, جَمِيعًا. إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Certainly Allah, He's in complete control over all things.